Hi, I'm Dr. Johnny Bloomfield and I am a sports scientist. My career began as a strength and conditioning coach for Ulster Rugby, and then I moved into the Sports Institute of Northern Ireland as an exercise physiologist, and I work with a number of different sports in that role, including supporting athletes at the Olympic Games, at the Commonwealth Games, as well as the Northern Ireland football team for European and World Cup qualifiers. And then I moved over to London to work with the English National Rugby Team, and I was their first team sports scientist. And then I left that role after the 2011 World Cup to go to work as a consultant. So I started working with pro golfers and with a number of Premier League football teams. So I've been involved with supporting elite athletes for probably over 20 years now. Okay, so I've been asked to answer a question on what a typical week might look like leading up to a major competition. Well, each week might have a little bit of variation. Certainly each week will have a stronger focus. Some weeks, depending how far out you are from the start of the competition, you'll have maybe more emphasis on fitness and building up that sort of speed and endurance. And then other weeks you might be much more focused on technical components and getting sort of more prepared for gameplay, patterns of play, and preparation for upcoming opposition. But a lot of the day-to-day is quite actually very similar. So you're always up early and you've got preparation to do before the first players arrive at breakfast, and then you'll have a kind of a procedure to manage as players arrive for breakfast, so that we understand what sort of condition they're in, how well they've recovered, what sort of fatigue might they be carrying, do they have any illness or injuries that might be appearing, basically are they ready to go that day. So we have some data collection to do first thing in the morning as the players arrive and then start having breakfast, monitor their weights, give them morning supplements, and just generally looking after their well-being and their welfare. So how are they? Then preparation for training session 1, so I have to get things like technology ready for the pitch session that might be coming up. So we have to get everything, if we're implementing wearable technology, all the units have to be charged, the belts have to be ready, clothing has to be right, we have to have that laid out in a way that the players are easily going to come pick up their own pack and wear that. And then of course you have to monitor the actual training session itself and collect the data, make sure that whatever feedback needs given live, then you're giving that. You have to take an incredible number of notes throughout the session so that you understand who's doing what and where and when, so that whenever you come to download information from that session, then you're able to slice and dice the data to make it more relevant. And you'll have a quick lunch, and then you can have a real fast turnaround, because there could be another pitch session coming up in the afternoon, or there might be a gym session, or it might be the other way around. We could be in the gym in the morning, pitch in the afternoon. So once the two sessions are finished, then you will have a analysis to do, feedback meetings, debriefs, and then prepare for the following day. So that'll be a medical meeting towards the end of the evening, understanding what sort of condition players are in, who's going to be available tomorrow. So it's kind of a 6 a.m. start to about a 10 p.m. finish, and that's pretty much it for the full week. And then of course you've got match day, which actually is a little bit less strenuous than the weekdays. So that's a typical week, particularly an international rugby week. Mondays, Tuesdays, 2 double days. Wednesdays might be a day off, or it might be a day for kickers. Thursdays will be another double day, and then Friday will be a nice gentle sort of visit to the stadium, bit of an easy session, only one session. Some players might do extras if they're not involved in the matchday 22, so you have to take care of those guys. Match day itself is relatively easy morning, and then a bit of a walkthrough, some meetings, just some general prep, bit of debrief how this week went, prepare for the following week. Then we go to the stadium, get the changing room set up, make sure that all the players have whatever they need. Then we do some arrival when they come in, so we might give them pre-match drinks, or we might have to weigh them in, to monitor fluid loss before after game, and just generally be there. Well, then obviously the monitoring of the game itself and the live feedback we have to provide to coaches, and download that. And then of course you've got the formalities of match day as well, so the after dinner events that go on. So match day can be quite late getting back from stadium, even if it's an afternoon kickoff. So Sunday, it's going to be picking up on the players that didn't play. It's going to be who's in what shape after the game, and then maybe getting ready for Monday. Sometimes you might get lucky and you kind of escape home for 24 hours, which just gives you a little bit of family time, but that doesn't always happen. So it is quite a pressured week, particularly when you're in a camp like this. So characteristics and skills that you need to have to do this role. Well, you have to be very, very resilient, very, very thorough. Thorough is probably the key thing. So you have to think all your procedures through very carefully, and make sure that you leave no gaps, no mistakes. It has to there just is no room for error in terms of what you're doing. So you have to be really, really switched on all the time, so it's exhausting. You have to obviously provide value, so whatever you're picking up, collecting and analysing, it has to mean something. It has to mean something to the players, otherwise they lose faith in why you're there, why you're doing this. So you have to actually add value, make a difference, and being thorough in your preparation and in your review is really critical. Being able to take criticism is also very important. So not everything you do or what you think you do is right or is needed. So you have to be told, you have to be prepared to kind of make changes, take on board feedback that maybe you don't want to hear. So, but it's for the good of the team. So you have to lay your ego to one side and be prepared to kind of learn and listen and change if necessary. And sort of be prepared to have a lot of sacrifice, because you're going to lose a lot of personal time, and you have to literally put everything into your role. So it comes at a big sort of personal cost. Lots of time away, lots of hotels, lots of but there's lots of good perks to that. There's some amazing things that you get to do, and you get to see, and the people you meet, and so on. So it is a bit of a it's a great opportunity if you ever work in elite sport. But it is definitely very, very challenging and very demanding. Another key part is innovating. So you have to keep thinking ahead, keep thinking what's next. You keep asking yourself, so what? You know, if you're doing something well, so what? What could you do? What could you be doing better? How could you do things differently? What's the next step to do? What's a better way of doing what I'm currently doing well? Those are the sort of questions you constantly have to ask yourself in terms of keeping ahead of the game, and keep providing value to the squad, so that you're a valuable member of the team. Finally, I've been asked a few career highlights. There's a few that I can think of, but they probably mean more to me than anyone else. One of the career highlights I had was actually Northern Ireland. A game we played away in Slovenia, and just the noise of the crowd. the noise of the Northern Ireland fans and the noise of that stadium in Slovenia was just incredible. And to go there and get a result, the draw, was really, really good. But then that whole campaign was a real highlight, and we were so close to reaching a playoff place in for the South African World Cup in 2010. That was a highlight. Other highlights would be kind of just generally being involved in Six Nations, in summer tours to Australia, and of course the World Cup in New Zealand. Just being involved in a tournament like that is, you know, major highlight. Too many moments I can think of kind of that kind of stand out. I suppose other highlights, just the opportunities to work with some Premier League teams, with some Premier League players, with some golfers, high achieving golfers, and getting to go on tour with them and spending time going around, playing some amazing golf courses around the world, getting to see a lot of the world. Travelled pretty much North America, Africa, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. The only place I've never been is in South America. So yeah, it's great to kind of have those life experiences, but they're not personal experiences, they're work experiences. So.